such incredibly hot weather today. It's like 37 degrees Celsius. It's all hot and stuffy and uncomfortable. Enchantress, welcome. Thank you for joining us. You caught me as I went live. Amazing. Sahu, welcome. I don't believe I've seen your name in the chat before, but welcome and thank you for joining us. So guys, the way the queue works is you just ask a question and you get added. And this is the countdown clock for free readings. Yeah, just ask a question to join the queue, and if you don't have a question and just want a general reading, then just make that known by saying general reading or general or something. Please don't hesitate to ask a question. Asking your question is how you join the queue. Can I know future husband details or when I will meet my future husband? Cool, so you're the first reading I'm going to be doing for the day. Enchantress says, what will be effects of me denying the marriage proposal I received? So who says, oh sorry, only general reading. No, we do general readings and personalized questions. So I'm going to read for your specialized question about your husband's details and when you'll meet him in the future. And then after you will be Enchantress B. Reveal the ideal character of Sahu's future husband. Let us know when he will appear. So we're doing 3 card readings. I might choose at random to give away 6 card readings. Past, present and future intervals. The present interval doubles as your about and general overview, and past is things that are coming to a close, future is things that are about to open, and more than that, it's also like a key. It's usually some advice that'll help you achieve the future that you're trying to create for yourself. Since the future doesn't just happen to you, the future is something that you can only experience in your mind, and then you bring little pieces of that vision into your present and cause your present to correspond with that vision of the future. So your past interval here for your husband, your future husband, is a Princess of Discs. So this is saying that in the past he has had trouble working with others, and that's something that it was detrimental to him. It's something that has sabotaged his relationships and something that might come up again. Once you meet him and you start forming a relationship with him, just bear in mind that he has struggled to work with other people and to be in relationships and allow their creative process to support him and vice versa. He's always been very much on his own journey, focusing on his own mission, and this has gotten in the way of relationships for him. But that's something in the past, and it's something that he's been working on. It's things that are closing for him right now, wherever he is in the world. Present interval is number 11 of the trumps. It's called Lust. And this card is like, it talks about a gateway. It's arriving at a gateway, your desire being that gateway, your desire for something being the gateway that makes it possible. Like, if I want a car, I will make it happen. Like, I want this, so I'm going to take action to make it happen for myself. That's the kind of energy that we see with the Lust card. In other decks it is called Strength. So this takes a new take on it. It's a new approach. It's the Thoth Tarot. So, oh dear, my lights are playing games. But it's like the strength that exists within desire. And what this card is saying is that in the present he wants He wants revelation. He wants to become self-aware and understand what he needs to do in order to get what he desires, and that is giving him strength to move forward. The card is number 11, as I said. In the present moment, he's trying to open doorways to working in relationships better than he has been in the past. He was working on trying to integrate that part of himself that focuses too much on his journey and not allowing other people to support or inspire his process, and vice versa. So in the present, he's like, I want a relationship where that can exist, where co-creation can exist, and where we both want our own individual end goal, but we're able to work together and allow one single system to form that can bring about the abundance for both missions and both objectives within that relationship. And that's something it's a gateway in front of him, because it's what he wants, and he wants to start taking action to make that real. I'm not seeing a time frame yet, so we'll see what the future interval says. Future interval is the Prince of Wands reversed. So Prince energy, the Prince energy is about choosing to face the challenges that you have ignored in the past. And Wands is about desires and passions. So he has desires and passions, like we saw here. He wants to make changes to the way he interacts in relationships. He wants to learn how to create a system that can support multiple people, particularly within a romantic, intimate relationship. So the Princess of Discs was in his way, and in the past when he was there, he was like, this is too much for me. Working with other people is too much, so I'm going to put that on the back burner. And the Prince of Wands is saying that as he's moving forward now, as he's come to this realization of what he actually wants, he has realized, he has decided that he's been through enough, he's experienced enough, and he's learned enough since the last relationship that he was in, that it's now time to take those challenges off the back burner and face them and truly integrate them and start making the changes that are necessary to find a breakthrough. Prince is number 12, so I'm gonna go ahead and say intuitively that is talking a 3-month time frame. Not necessarily that your romantic relationship will develop within 3 months, but he will turn up out of the woodworks. The person that your future spouse, your future partner that this spread is identifying for you, you're going to make first contact with them in at least 3 months from now. And yeah, so between now and then, he's going to be facing those challenges. He's going to be making those integrations. All the things that he had put on a back burner saying he wasn't ready to face in relationships, he's bringing that all into the front right now, and he's choosing to face them and integrate them. And between now and the 3 months from now, when you meet him, he's going to be working on that in himself. It's possible that you already know this man, but he will be identified to you within 3 months. Selah. That is the conclusion of your reading. So thank you very much for joining. I'd encourage you to like and subscribe and possibly share. You can check me out on my other platforms too. And if you felt like you got some value from this spread, you are welcome to send some value in return in the form of a donation. Thank you so much. Enchantress B, you're up next. What will be the effects of denying the marriage proposal I received? I'm sensing manipulation and that the proposal is not suitable for me. You are most welcome, Sahu. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the value that I have. You know, that's the primary reason that I'm here. That's the primary reason that I do this. Okay. So what will be the ramifications of Enchantress denying the marriage proposal which has been presented to her? It's so weird. It's like as soon as I start putting the cards down, I start receiving messages, and then as I turn the cards over, the messages are so synchronous with that. Oh, very interesting. We have the Princess of Discs in your past as well, but this time it's the right way around. So once again, this is talking about learning to co-create with others. This is in the position of your past, so it's where you've come from. In 2021, you spent a lot of time learning how to integrate with other people's creative process. Like you have a goal, and you apply your creativity to overcome blockages and find solutions to issues that present themselves as you move towards your goal, and other people do the same, and you were learning ways that you could integrate their process and learn from their process and allow their strategies and solutions to apply to what you're doing, and vice versa. And more than that, just when you draw something, if I'm going to use drawing as an example. So when I draw something, I have this clear vision of what I'm drawing, and I have an attachment to that outcome. I know what it's going to look like, and I want it to look that way. So then when it comes to co-creation, I might start a drawing and then have to hand it over to someone else to finish, and in that case I have to let go of my attachment to the outcome and just trust in their creative process to complete it in a way that will bring about abundance and finalization. So that's kind of what you were going through. You were learning to let go of the attachment to results so that you could work with others in your creative process. And creativity doesn't necessarily apply exclusively to things like drawing and music and dancing. Anytime that you have to come up with solutions or apply your ingenuity to whatever your process is, whatever you're trying to create for yourself or manifest for yourself, that is creative potential. It doesn't have to look like your conventional art forms. Working on your daily schedule, going to work every day and communicating with people, online, social media work, all of that stuff it requires that you apply your creative potential. Just wanted to bring that to the foreground, felt like it was important. Your present interval is number 19 of the trumps. It is the Sun. So with this card, it's saying that in the present moment you are existing authentically. So for you to say that you feel like there is manipulation going on here, and that you should deny this marriage proposal, that is your intuition speaking, and to follow it would be you existing authentically. The Sun is a source of energy for our solar system, and our planet receives its potential to bring forth life and abundance because of the energy that radiates from the Sun. So similarly, in your universe and in your life, you are the source of energy that gives your environment its potential to bring forth abundance into your reality. And that can only happen if you're existing authentically and applying yourself authentically, not trying to deliberately please others or go out of your way for anyone else, focusing on your own priorities and your own well-being, and existing authentically within that. That automatically causes energy to radiate from you and inspire the people in your life, inspire them to exist authentically, inspire them to follow their dreams. And it also gives your dreams, like whatever you're working on, if you're working on it authentically, it automatically, and as a byproduct, as a natural byproduct, receives its potential for abundance and multiplication in that abundance. So yeah, that's your present interval. Let's have a look at your future interval. So okay, this is number 17 of the trumps. It is the Star reversed, and this is saying this is to do with what's going to happen once you communicate your intentions to reject this marriage proposal. He's probably going to demonstrate his true colors. You said you sense manipulation. When you deny it and you deny him his ability to manipulate you, it's going to cause the darkness to rise up and show its face. And the Star card is all about channeling and directing emotions. When the card is reversed, it talks about not channeling or directing those emotions. It talks about acting and speaking impulsively as a result of those emotions, particularly talking about tumultuous and difficult emotions. So when you make your intentions known, he's gonna start saying things that deliberately trigger you. He's gonna be like pressing on buttons to try and work you up. And yeah, for you, you're going to have to really apply that Star card energy where you choose to direct those currents, those emotional currents, and not respond impulsively, not say things that basically don't walk into his trap. Acknowledging that he's trying to get a reaction from you, he's trying to get you to respond impulsively to your emotions and say hurtful things so that he has something against you, so that he has some way to justify himself being nasty to you. Don't give him that pleasure when you communicate it. No matter what he does, You must choose to act in a way that's aligned with your purpose and what you're creating for yourself, rather than doing whatever the emotion says. So the emotion might be fear. It might inspire you to. Fear often inspires us to do things that are shameful. Resentment inspires us to do things that are hurtful to ourselves and others. And those feelings will be intense, and they will tell you to do those things. They will tell you to act shamefully and act harmfully. But that is not aligned with purpose. To listen to negative emotions separates you from the dream you're creating for yourself. And it's basically self-sabotage. So what this star card wants to say to you is that as you're communicating your intention to reject the proposal, remember to act in alignment with your purpose regardless of the emotions. And if they are very intense, don't suppress them, because that's also self-sabotage. It will result in nasty side effects. When you need to express it in your creative process. Draw something, write something, express those feelings into some kind of creative medium. And that concludes your reading. So I hope that was valuable to you. I hope it gives you clarity and lets you feel more aligned with whatever it is that you're doing. I know self-doubt can often come up when we're trying to learn to distinguish between intuition and emotional impulses. There can be a lot of self-doubt, but this card is clearly saying that what you're feeling is intuitive and you should step in that, because that is you existing authentically. So yeah, you know that your distant family members would turn against you. Well, then that's part of that star card reversed. The things that they're going to have to say, they will also create triggers in you. They will also cause difficult emotions. But once again, don't do what the negative emotions tell you to do. Do something creative instead, because creativity will bring you closer to your goals. Impulsivity will bring you further away from them. And yeah, I'd encourage you to support me on my other platforms, because you've already liked and subscribed on YouTube. And if you are by the means, please don't hesitate to send a donation of your choosing. Thank you very much. I'm going to have a look in the chat and see if I've got any other requests. Amazing. Standing true to yourself. Yes, continue to be authentic. 2022, I've heard a lot of people say they received words from the Spirit to describe this year, like bring it down to what they're going to experience and learn this year, bringing it down to one word. I've heard a lot of people using the word authentic as their word for 2022, choosing to be authentic to who they are and what their purpose is within 2022. So I see that Manju joined our chat and asks how I'm doing. Manju, I am doing pretty well. I have been experiencing some frustrations and difficulties today, and I know that that's particularly because I've been cutting down on the amount of coffee that I drink and the amount of cigarettes that I smoke. And in addition to that, the weather is absolutely unbearable. It's so stuffy and hot here. It's 37 degrees Celsius. It's like oven temperatures, and all of these factors combined, I was having a little bit of difficulty preparing the stream. I felt like it required more strength and more focus than usual. But a little bit of meditation, power meditation and chakra cleansing before I pressed the go live button, it seems to have sorted me out. And then I hope, Manju, I hope that you're doing well today. I hope that you're claiming it as a good day for yourself, regardless of what kind of influences are bothering you. Yeah. If you have a question, please ask it to join the queue. This timer over here is, that's free readings are open as long as that timer is still there. When it reaches 0, readings become donation based. Okay, I see you have asked a question. May I know the feelings of why for me? No contact. Chris Finclair has joined the chat on Twitch. Hey Chris, glad to see you in the chat. Thank you for supporting. Saying hope you're well today, my friend. As I was saying to Manju, I did describe how I've been doing, but apart from that, I'm doing pretty well. Z and I went to the shops this morning. We did some grocery shopping. We didn't manage to get everything that we needed because, as you know, Sundays most places are closed. I wanted to get myself a black bowl and Pick and Pay doesn't sell black bowls. Pick and Pay doesn't sell makeup. I needed makeup. What else did I need that I couldn't get? Incense. Namaste, the incense shop was closed, the spice shop was closed. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make another mission to town. So Manju is up next for a reading, and the question is, may I know the feelings of why for me? No contact. I'm just opening my notifications tab so that I can know if I get any private messages or donations. Okay, cool. How does the one referred to as Y feel regarding Manju? Feel in his or her heart regarding Manju. Okay, so past interval is number 7 of the trumps. It's called the Chariot, and it's reversed. So in the past, during past interactions, probably still in 2021, Y, the one you refer to as Y, perceived in you that you have many goals. You have too many goals. You're trying to divide your life vehicle. Your life is a vehicle. That's how you move from point A to B. When you have dreams of being in a car or on a boat, it's usually a symbol of where you're going in life, and the vehicle and the things in the vehicle are symbols of your life and your reality. So what this card is saying is that this person Y was perceiving in you that you divided too much. You have all of these endless possibilities, all these great ideas and pathways into the future, but you don't actually ever choose one or commit to one, so none of it ever really manifests into your life. And this was detrimental to their image of you. They saw this and they were like, ooh, no, that's a red flag. Yeah, spending time and forming a relationship with someone who isn't really going anywhere, whose life vehicle is standing still because they haven't chosen which direction to travel in or what destination they're actually going towards. Present interval, 6 of Swords, reversed. So things have changed since then. 6 is the number of overcoming previous limitations through interaction with new people and in standing relationships. Swords is about purpose. So in the present moment, you are making Y, the one referred to as Y, aware of his previous limitations, and likewise your interactions with Y have made you aware of your limitations, made you aware of where you've been overreaching based on how much knowledge and experience you have, overreaching for your purpose, saying, okay, I want this, this is my purpose, this is what I've set for myself as purpose, and I'm going towards that. Yeah, basically moving out of that chariot phase where you were choosing where to go, finally deciding where you're going, but then reaching a little bit further than what your knowledge and experiences could carry you. And he made you aware of that, he or she made you aware of that fact about yourself, and similarly you made him aware of his own, the ways he or she was overreaching in his or her life and his or her purpose. At the same time, through your interaction, you gave him, you gave him or her, I don't know if Y is male or female, you gave him or her pieces of new experiences. You gave him or her new experiences, new knowledge, and access to new resources that could help him get past those limits and reach a little bit further towards his outcome. And similarly, he gave you new experiences, new knowledge, and access to new resources which helped you reach for your purpose a little bit further than before, evolving past your previous limitations. And this is something that he is grateful for, even though it has been difficult to acknowledge his own limits, difficult to acknowledge the fact that he's reaching further than he can, because he kind of felt like that was what was necessary. He was reaching to a certain point. He was like, that's how far I need to reach to make this worthwhile. And similarly for you, you were like, this is how far I need to reach in order to make this effort worthwhile. And becoming aware that that was further than your knowledge or experiences could take you, it was daunting and it was frustrating. But you've both given each other the pieces of the puzzle that are necessary in order to reach as far as you were trying to reach, and even further. Future interval is the Prince of Discs. So now, as a result of this relationship and the brief interactions that you've had in the past and in the present, you are now prepared to face your challenges regarding finances, challenges regarding health and fitness. So during this chariot phase where you didn't really know which direction you were setting your life to travel in, there were certain aspects of your physical safety, physical security, health and finances, certain aspects of that you weren't ready to face. You had tried to face them at that point in life, and you were like, ooh, not quite ready. So you put it in a corner. You were like, I'll face that a bit later in life. And now, as a result of these evolutions that you've made in your purpose because of this relationship with Y, whether it's platonic or romantic, I don't know, it's not quite relevant. Just as a result of that relationship, you now feel like you've learned enough and experienced enough that it's time to take those challenges off of the dashboard and re-examine them and actually face them. And it's going to be a struggle, it's going to be difficult, but it's what's opening up for you, and you are ready to face those challenges, and you're ready to really make some breakthroughs in your finance, your fitness, your health, and your home security. Selah. So that concludes your reading. Thank you for joining and supporting the stream, and if you're by the means, please feel free to send a donation of your choosing. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and you can also check me out on my other platforms. You are most welcome. So next in my queue, I have a Jyoti. I'm gonna say Jyoti. That seems right. Saying, can I ask current feelings of VJ for Jyoti? Actually, he has blocked me. Do the 5, do the 5, do the 5. I don't know what emoji that is. I'm sure it's fun. Will he come back? Okay, so I will be doing that reading next. And then after Jyoti, I have Jno, who has said, good morning, will Elise express her feelings for me? Amazing. And then I see a Priya Rathore, who has joined us. Hello Priya, and welcome to the stream. If you have a question, please ask it to join the queue. If you want a general reading, just let me know that you'd like a general reading, and I will also add you to the queue. After that is Deepti, who's saying, may I be added? When will I get a job? So cool, you are in the queue. Last time you were late, this time there's space. And then we've got Juicy Butter Toast, who has joined us on Twitch. And Juicy Butter Toast, so the way that you join the queue here is you just ask a question, and that adds you to the queue. Just be mindful of the timer. That timer is the countdown clock for free readings. When it reaches 0, free readings expire. If we're getting close to the bottom, which I don't think we are, we haven't even been online for a full hour yet, and it's a 2-hour countdown, so you should be safe and secure. But anyway, when we get close to 0, then a $2 donation will make sure that you get a reading even after the queue closes, and a $5 donation will skip the queue entirely. So, current feelings of VJ for Jyoti. does VJ currently perceive Jayoti? Okay, so your first card, which is your past interval and things which are coming to a close, is a rebirth of desire. It's Knight of Wands. Rebirth of desire, rebirth of intention. It's the right way around, so this is a conclusion you and he came to of your own accord. This was probably end of last month, beginning of this year. Just re-examining what your intentions were with this relationship. Re-examining what you actually wanted out of this relationship, realizing that your initial intentions and your initial desires were not actually aligned with who you are authentically, so allowing those intentions and those desires to die, to pass away, so that new intentions and new desires can be born. This is something that both of you went through, him specifically, because this spread is about him. So he acknowledge that his intentions and his desires when going into the relationship were not aligned with himself authentically, so he had to let go of those intentions and those desires, allowing new desires to be made apparent to him and setting new intentions based on those desires. And that's what has brought you into the present. So in the present we're seeing it's called Fortune. It's number 10 of the trumps, and it's reversed, so it's talking about reaping a foul harvest, essentially. So the initial intention that was sown when the relationship began wasn't healthy on his behalf. He was sowing ill intent into the relationship when it began. So he examined that, he re-examined that, acknowledged that, and then let it die, let that negative intention die. But in the present, you guys are both collectively experiencing the results of those negative intentions that were sown. Whenever you sow a seed into the universe, into your space, into a relationship, it does come into fruition. And if those seeds are positive, it's a positive harvest. If those seeds are negative, it's a negative harvest. So in the present, you guys have come full circle in the relationship, and now you are seeing, you're reaping the harvest of negative intentions that were sown from both sides of the relationship, from you and from him. Right now, the card is saying there is the potential to be sowing new seeds into the present. He could be coming to you and expressing his true intentions going forward, expressing his new desire for the relationship, and you could be doing the same for him, but he has you blocked. So if I don't plant a harvest this year, if I don't plant seeds this year, I won't get a harvest. So if you arrive into completion, if 1 year I get a bad crop, and then I say, oh, because I got a bad crop, I'm not going to plant any more seeds, and I'm never going to see any more harvest. And that's kind of what's happening here. If he keeps you blocked, it's like him saying, oh, I've been so discouraged by the bad harvest that I'm not going to bother planting again. And that's not necessarily the correct course of action, but if he has you blocked, there isn't very much you can do about it. Actually, there is, so I will get to that once we turn over your future interval. Your future interval is number 9 of the trumps. It's the Hermit. So this card is about self-reflection, what's opening up for you. And so he's about to go into a period of self-reflection. He's going to look back on the relationship. He's going to see what intentions he sowed that were negative and why this ill harvest is being reaped. He's going to acknowledge and take responsibility for his own faults and his mistakes. And similarly, you should be doing the same. You should be observing your past mistakes, your past self-sabotaging behavior, resentful actions. Every time that you were in the wrong, acknowledging and accepting that, taking responsibility for it. Never mind him, he's doing that of his own accord. Also acknowledging the places where you were healthy and you were supportive and you were successful and made breakthroughs and shared healing and comfort. Because as you move into the new cycle where you're planting new seeds, you can take those experiences, those positive experiences, and apply it in the new cycle. And at the same time, you can avoid making your past mistakes by acknowledging that those mistakes happened and that you were responsible for them. So this period of self-reflection is highly important. It's the last thing that you do before you move into completion and you plant your new seeds. So what I was going to say about him having you blocked, you can still reach him psychically. if you take his name and you deconstruct it into some letters, and you take those letters and connect them in weird shapes and forms, just take a moment to be artistic with the letters that form his name, and then write him a letter underneath that. And everything that you feel, positive and negative, pour it into that little picture of his name that you've drawn. And he will feel those things and know those things that you're saying to him in his spirit. And it might be the last feather that broke the camel's back that gets him to unblock you and actually communicate clearly with you. And that concludes your reading. So thank you very much for joining, and if you're by the means, please feel free to send a donation. Also, I'd encourage you to like and subscribe so you get notifications in the future. You can do that by hitting that little bell next to subscribe. You'll get notifications when I go live or upload any content. So thank you again, and yeah, moving on to the next reading. Elisa Mzanisi says, hello, I just subscribed. Thank you so much, Elisa, and welcome Tara Laspina. I see that Priya Rathor asks for a general reading, and Juicy Butter Toast is saying okay, thank you, but has not asked me a question. So just want to encourage you, Juicy Butter Toast, to ask your question if you want to get into the queue. And then next in my queue is Jano asking, will Elise express her feelings for me? Welcome to the chat. Jennifer Kennedy, can I please ask for a reading? What is coming to me in the next week? And then Elisa Mzanzi says, Manzini says, may I ask if my XG still loves me? Thank you. So amazing, guys. And then Tara says, I'd love a love reading, please. Thank you. Awesome, guys. So that's exactly how the queue works. You just go ahead and ask a question to get into the queue, and this timer above my head is the timer for free readings. When that timer expires, readings become donation based, but while that timer is still up there, we're giving away free readings. And yeah, or asking a question automatically gets you into the queue. Next up in my queue is Jay No. Good morning, will Elise express her feelings for me? So that's the reading I'm doing next. Jay No on YouTube. Will Elise express her feelings towards Jay No? Juicy Buttertoast says, my question, why do I keep thinking and feeling so anxious about Q, a guy I have a small crush on? Aha. Great question. We will get to you. Thank you for joining the queue. Okay, so Jay No, your past interval is number 2 of the trumps. It is the Priestess. So this card is all about opportunities and potential. So the potential for her to express herself was presented. The potential for you, the opportunity for you to express yourself was presented, but neither of you claimed it. This is past interval. This is things that have already happened. This is probably starting the beginning of 2022 in this last week. You guys both had opportunities to express yourselves and your feelings to one another, and both of you did not seize those opportunities. You kept your feelings to yourselves and made small talk instead. Present interval is number 17 of the trumps. It is the Star. So in the present moment, both of you are having intense feelings for one another, and you are coping and directing these energies quite healthily. You're using them to inspire your creative potential. You're using them to inspire what your dream is and work on your goals and manifest your visions the way that you see them, your visions of the future the way that you see them. And this card is just encouraging you guys to actually step out on a limb and share with each other what you're doing. So like, you're being inspired by her the feelings that you have for her, and allowing that to positively affect your reality. Share that process with her. Show her what you're doing and what you're creating. Even if you don't necessarily say to her, hey, you've inspired me, I would encourage you to definitely say to her, hey, the energy you have has inspired me so much, and I want to thank you because this is all that I've been able to accomplish with that inspiration. And basically, that card is commending you and recognizing you for how you've been applying the emotions and the feelings that come up because of this relationship, and it also wants to encourage you to share that process with each other. I believe that she can hear these spreads. When people ask for readings regarding other people, I believe that both parties hear it in their spirit. Their thought process becomes affected by me observing them from where I am, and yeah, she might go out on a limb as a result of this and do the same thing that you're doing. But I encourage you to just to be the one to break open the can, to spill the beans. It will encourage her to reflect and share what she's going through and experiencing and how she's been inspired by you. Future interval is number 10 of Wands. It's the 10 of Wands, and Wands is about desires and passions and intentions, and 10 is about completion, arriving into completion, reaping harvest, seeing returns on investments. So even though you missed out on this potential in the past, you've still been investing into the relationship. You have good intentions, as that card is saying. You sowed good intentions into the relationship. You built on the relationship, invested your time and your energy into seeing what you desired from that relationship come into fruition. And this card in the position of the future is saying that what you desire and what the intentions that you've set are about to come into completion for you. And it wants to encourage you to sow new seeds again. Communicating. The first thing you do when you arrive in a new cycle is communicate the new intentions you're setting and your desires, the desired outcome that you hope to attain. So as you step into this, the star card is saying communicate what you're currently going through with her and how you've been inspired and how you're directing those emotions into your purpose. Communicating that with her will bring you guys into the completion of your desires. And as you do that, more communication is necessary on where you guys will be going from there. So don't neglect to seize that potential when it shows itself, because 10 is the same as 1, it's just on the other end in completion. 1 is the beginning, 10 is the end, but both of them are about communication. 1 is more about giving out and 10 is more about receiving. But and then 2 is about potential. So after 1 you're about to receive completion. 2 will show itself again, and that'll be again the potential that you missed in the past is going to show up again in the future. Don't let it go by this time. And that concludes your reading. Thank you very much for joining. And as you know, stock record, please feel free to send a donation. Please feel free to support me on my other platforms, and thank you for supporting me. Jennifer Kennedy says gratuity sent. Thank you so much. I do see that notification. I'm about to check it out. Amazing. Thank you. So that's a priority reading for Jennifer Kennedy. That means Jennifer Kennedy is up next for a reading. Awesome. You're most welcome, Jano. You are most welcome. Okay, so Jennifer, I'm just going to check this thread and see what your question was. Confirm your question. What is coming to me in the next week? Awesome. So what blessings and opportunities does the universe have in store for Jennifer Kennedy in this coming week? Mariah Moulet, welcome to the chat. To join the queue, you just ask a question. So yes, please go ahead and ask a question. Jennifer Kennedy, your past interval is the 2 of discs, and it's reversed. So the universe is giving you this card, is showing you this card just to make you aware that in the past the universe has given you opportunities and blessings, and you have noticed them, you've observed them, opportunities for financial growth and for progress and growth within your health and your fitness, and you've reached for them and you've grabbed a hold of them but then failed to stay committed to them. So when we see a number 2, it's talking about potential, but that potential is very much like a seed. So that seed has the potential for abundance, and you know that that's a fruit tree in that seed, but that seed is not going to give you any value until it is fully grown, and you have to plant it and water it and nourish it, and that whole time that it's growing you have to give of yourself and stay committed to it without expecting anything in return, just trusting that it is a fruit tree, that you know what kind of seed it is, and that when it is fully grown you will receive abundance from it. So the universe just wants to point out to you that in the past you have been presented with blessings and opportunities that you've reached for, but you've allowed those plants, those seeds that you planted, to wither out and die because of a lack of commitment to them, becoming disheartened and saying, hey, I'm not seeing anything from this, I'm going to choose something else. The universe just wants you to be aware of that going into the future. So in the present we have number 17 of the trumps for you, and it is the star. And this one, the universe wants to commend you and say that in the present you are doing really well considering your emotions. Strong feelings, good feelings and negative feelings, just having a lot of strong emotions, emotional experiences in the present, and you're acting within purpose rather than impulsively. When you experience negative emotions and they tell you to do something resentful or something shameful, you're not listening to it. You're saying, hey, I can acknowledge that I'm feeling that way, and I can acknowledge that that emotion is telling me to act this way, but I know that to act according to negative emotions will take me away from my desires and away from the purpose I've set myself and away from the goals that I'm working to manifest. And so therefore I'm going to allow these emotions to inspire my creativity, and I'm going to do something productive towards my goals instead. And that is just recognition, saying, well done, keep it up. That is a very strong and important key when it comes to staying committed to your dreams and the potentials that are opening up for you. The universe recognizes that, and because of that recognition, the universe is prepared to invest into you. And what else this card is saying is that the universe will give you what it believes you can handle at once. So whatever value you're receiving, no matter where it's coming from, whether it's coming from work, it's coming from blessings, donations, everything that you're receiving, it's an investment in you, and the universe wants to see how you're going to apply and use that. And if you use it well, and you invest it, and you listen to the universe and the spirits, and you follow your intuition with those blessings, then the next blessing will be greater than the last, and the next one greater, and so on and so forth. Future interval is the 9 of Wands. It's reversed. So this card is saying that you are right on the precipice of completion. The desires and intentions that you've set, they are about to manifest into completion for you. And when you stand on this precipice before completion, there is one last thing that we do before we can arrive into the new cycle, and that is self-reflection. And this card is saying that it's basically encouraging you to take a moment and isolate, not necessarily physical isolation, but mental and emotional isolation, just for a moment, so that you can examine where you've come from. We saw the Two of Discs in the past. Go back to that period, examine yourself and your actions, acknowledge and take responsibility for the things that you did that were outside of your alignment. Acknowledge the things that you did that brought about breakthroughs and success for yourself, because as your completion manifests and your desires appear in your present, you will be in the new cycle, and then the mistakes that you made in the past should not be repeated, and the successes you made in the past can be reapplied into the new cycle. The card is reversed, which indicates that it might be difficult for you to acknowledge your own mistakes in the past. There are going to be a lot of thoughts that come up that give you reasons to justify why you acted out of alignment or whatever it might have been. And so that card, that the last warning or the last note and advice that card wants to give you is just be mindful of those self-justifying thoughts. Don't listen to them. Rather accept and acknowledge your faults and your successes, because if you can't acknowledge your faults, you leave room to repeat them, and if you can't acknowledge your successes, you can't reapply that method for success going forward. Basically all of the things that you have been working on, the things that you desire for yourself and your life, and all the investments that you made into that are about to come into fruition, and this self-reflective period is the last thing that you're going to be going through before you see that realized. So once you're complete with your self-reflection, just have a look around you and see how much of what you've been working for is already in the present, and be grateful for it. The universe loves to see gratitude. The universe wants to bless those who are grateful. So that concludes your reading. Thank you very much for your support, and yeah, please like and share this video and follow me so that you can get notifications when I go live in the future. I do this Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at the same time. Okay, in the last couple of weeks I've been doing 3 to 5, and I've made some adjustments to that. I'm now starting at 2 until 4, and then doing overtime as long as I'm getting donations staying online. Thank you very much. Jennifer Kennedy says, you are brilliantly fantastic. Thank you. Very much appreciate your recognition. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to have a look and see who is up next in my queue. I think the last reading I did before Jennifer Kennedy was Jyoti. It was a J No that I did the last one for, so after J No was Deepti. Deepti, let me know if you're still here, because you're up next for a reading. And then I've got some new viewers who've joined the chat. Myra Moulet says, will I reconcile with my husband a lot this year? A look this year. And we have a Wade who has just joined the chat on Facebook. Welcome, Wade. Thank you for joining the stream. Ask a question to join the queue. Yeah, it automatically adds you to the queue. And then Priya Rathor says, my parents are asking me to meet Nikhil for arranged marriage. Will he be right for me? Will I and Nikhil get married in 2022? Thank you for your question. You are in the queue. So I see Deepti seems to have left the chat. I'm gonna have a look and see who was after Deepti. Priya Rathor for a general reading. Okay, I see Priya has adjusted that question. So Priya, I'm gonna go ahead for your question about your arranged marriage. Thank you for confirming your question. And after Priya Rathor, we have Elisa. So after Priya is Elisa. Is Nikhil the right man for Priya? And will they be married in this 2022? This year of 2022. Past interval, present interval, future interval. So, Priya, your past interval is the 10 of discs. This is about completion within your physical environment. That's to do with your health. That's to do with your finances and your security. So what this card is saying to me is that you were working on some kind of project. You were working on your fitness, setting yourself a schedule regarding your health and your fitness, maybe dieting, perhaps some kind of artistic project or some other business project, side hustle. And towards the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, you saw those things come into fruition. You look back and you realize how much progress you've made with your health, how much progress you've made with your fitness, and how much progress you've made with your financial security, and how the project you were working on has actually brought about the things that you were trying to create. In the present, we have an 8 of discs reversed. So 8 is about adjustments, shifts, changes. It's not unhealthy changes. It's you recognizing what you have to do, what you have to let go of, and who you have to become in order to see your goals realized. So you, like you're saying, you're focusing on exams, but that's in the present now. And yeah, you're having to work prudently with what you have, with the resources that are at your disposal. Finding time, balance between how much time you can spend on your studies, trying to balance your studies with whatever you do on the side, whatever projects you have, hobbies, etc. Also, things that you spend on, luxuries you spend on, realizing where you have to cut out regarding your health. If you want to move towards healthy lifestyle, what habits you have to let go of, and just trying to create a balance between all of the things that you're working on. And it has been a struggle for you. It's been difficult to acknowledge the things that you have to let go of. We always form attachments to our habits and our lifestyle, and letting go of them, or becoming aware that we have to let go of that in order to achieve what we're trying to create, can often be difficult to accept. So that's what's going on in the present here. But all of these things that you're preparing for are aligned with this marriage. This marriage is part of that shift, or at least you going to meet him and giving it a shot, and trusting that your parents actually do have some kind of good idea of who is right for you and what kind of lifestyle will fit you. Choosing to trust them in that and give them a chance by going to meet with him and courting him for a little bit and getting to know him, and then communicating with them what you perceive in him and listening to what they have to say regarding what they perceive in them. That's all part of the shift of you becoming who you need to be in order to see your goals come into fruition. Future interval is the 10 of Wands. So this is actually quite an encouraging spread. It's saying, it's not specifically talking about this marriage, and it's not saying that you will or will not be married to him. It's just saying to you, go ahead and follow through. Just go ahead and give it all a chance. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Trust the flow of the universe, and trust that your parents know you and have your best interest at heart. So your future interval is the 10 of Wands, and 10 again is about coming into completion, and Wands is about desires and intentions. So basically that's saying that all of the efforts that you've made regarding your desires, your desired outcome, and all the time and energy and resources that you've invested into your dreams, and what you're passionate about is right there on the horizon for you. You are stepping into it by making these adjustments that you're going through in the present, by making all these changes in order to find balance. That is bringing you into the fruition of your dreams. That makes it a possibility. That makes the completion and full manifestation of everything you've invested a possibility. And that's very encouraging spread. And it is saying that you will probably find that this Nikhil, by going into this relationship, or by giving him a chance, it will be in alignment with what you have been creating for yourself, and everything you've been focusing on and investing on for yourself and your dreams. This is not going to be detrimental to those efforts. This is actually going to be positive to those intentions and help support you. So yeah, that concludes your reading. I find it is a very encouraging spread, and thank you for joining. Please like and subscribe, and you can also check me out on my other platforms and give me a thumbs up on those platforms too. Also feel free to send a donation if you're by the means and you feel like you'd like to return some value for the value you received. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll see you again. Welcome to the chat. Whitney Beamish. Myra Boulay, your question is in the queue and I will get to it in the order that it appears in the chat. If you'd like to skip the queue, that's a $5 donation. So after Priya was Elisa. So, Elisa, if you are still here, please let me know. You are up for a reading, and I see your question was, what is coming? Oh, wrong question. May I ask if my XG still loves me? And then I see we have a Shruti Oswal. Welcome back, Shruti. Thank you for joining us. If I expand my family business, how will it result? Amazing. Thank you for your question. Your question automatically adds you to the queue. Just a reminder, guys, if this timer is getting low, a $2 donation will ensure that you get a reading before the stream closes, even after the timer expires, and a $5 donation will skip the queue and put you next in line. And Elise says she is here, so Elise is up next for a reading, next in my queue. And that question was, does my ex, the one referred to as G, does he still love me? Does Elisa's ex, the one referred to as G, does he still love her? Okay, so your past interval is the 10 of Cups. So this is talking about expressing emotions in their fullness, allowing them to come into their fullness and be felt and expressed. This card is in the position of the past, so it's where you've come from. It's basically saying that when he was in the relationship with you in the past, when you guys were together, it created positive, healthy feelings for him that really evolved into their fullness, something he had never experienced before, and he was able to really feel them and express them authentically, and that is something he really appreciates about you and the relationship you guys were in. In the present, I see a 5 of Cups. So in the present, he is experiencing feelings of disappointment and despair because of the absence of this relationship, not being with you. Like you constantly reminisce about the times you were together, and when he looks at new potential relationships, or he looks at the other people in his lives, he feels a sense of dissatisfaction, like none of these people can really be close to him, like none of these people are close enough for him to express himself the way he did with you. 5 is about applying your knowledge and your resources to their maximum potential, and Cups is about emotions. So he is feeling these feelings of despair and disappointment and dissatisfaction, and he's really doing the best that he can in order to stay focused on manifesting his own goals and working on himself and filling his own cup despite those feelings. But there are limitations on how much he's experienced and how much he knows about interacting with his own emotions, and this is really the first time that he's ever had to deal with feelings that like what he's feeling now. It's the first time he's ever had these kinds of emotional experiences, so he only has so much experience and so much knowledge as to how to interact with those feelings, and he is doing the best that he can, but he is still feeling dissatisfied, disconnected, and yeah, he's still got quite a bit of heartbreak as a result of your relationship coming to an end. Future interval is number 5 of the trumps. So this card is saying to me that the end of this relationship was a healthy thing for both of you. It is allowing both of you to step into a place where you become examples. You become the example that you've never had. that you've always wished there was, like someone to follow suit in, someone who you could look at their lives and say, okay, that is a healthy, prosperous way to live. So you guys now, as a result of this relationship and its ending, the experiences that you've been through, the pain and learning to cope with it, and when you were in the relationship, the ability to express yourselves and feel these deep feelings taught you guys a lot, and has allowed you both now in the separation to become the example you never had for others and for partners in future relationships. The card also wants to give you some advice and say, it just wants to encourage you to acknowledge your current limits on your knowledge, what you know about relationships and about yourself. Acknowledge the limitations on your resources, financial and otherwise, so that when you reach for your goals and you're trying to set your example of commitment and consistency and whatever it is that you are displaying in your example, to not reach further than your knowledge and experiences can carry you, because that will just leave you frustrated and stagnant. Keep your goals reasonable based on what you know and what you have. That's basically what that card is saying, and that'll form part of the example that you demonstrate to others. And when others do come to you for advice, or when people are observing you and you notice that they're taking your example to heart, even if they don't talk about it, you will be able to see if they are applying themselves further than their knowledge and resources can carry them, and then just to give them a little wake-up call and let them know when they're doing that. If they're struggling, they're trying to apply themselves to their maximum potential but not actually making any progress, then you can say to them, hey, listen, based on your current knowledge and your current experiences, you can't really be reaching as far as you are. You can't really expect yourself to be able to leap that far into your purpose and where you're trying to go to based on your current knowledge. Take your steps a little bit smaller. And yeah, that concludes your reading. So it is saying that he still has an attachment to you, that he still feels heartbreak as a result of the breakup. So he does still love you, but the breakup and separation has been healthy. Even if this is only in a temporary separation, your relationship and the separation, the whole experience has been a great period of growth for both of you. Very healthy. And yeah, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the foresight and intuition that I am blessed with and have developed. If you are by the means, please feel free to send a donation. And I think you already liked and subscribed. If you can also check me out on my other platforms and support me there. It would be much appreciated. I'm seeing a notification. I have another donation. Gonna have a look and see who this is from. A Pamela View. This is Juicy Butter Toast. Amazing. So that prioritizes Juicy Butter Toast for the next reading. Thank you so much for the gratuity, for the tip and the donation. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Now we're gonna have a look and confirm what your question was, Juicy Butter Toast. So your question was, why do I keep thinking and feeling so anxious about Q, a guy I have a small crush on? Okay, cool. So I've decided that I'm going to do a 6-card reading for you, because my intuition is saying that this question will be best answered with a crossing card. So we've got past, present and future. Now I'm going to add a crossing card, which is why your present looks the way it looks, and then a conscious mind. So like you said, why is my thoughts fixating? Conscious mind will help understand that, and an unconscious mind that will explain to you what your subconscious is busy processing. So why does Juicy Butter Toast feel so anxious about Q? Present about card. Crossing. Conscious thoughts. Unconscious thoughts. Past interval and things which are closing. future interval, and things which are opening for you. So, your about card is number 14 of the trumps, and it's called art. So what this card is saying, that basically, to answer your question on a most basic scale, the reason you're feeling these anxieties is because you have so much hope for the relationship. This art card is all about co-creation. It's about working together with someone to pursue your dreams, allowing their creativity to support your process and allowing your creativity to support their process. Basically, you have your own dream, they have their own dream, but you guys creating a system where you interact that can manifest both dreams simultaneously. And it's your attachment to that that causes the fear. It's a fear of not seeing that realized. It's a fear of failure within that pursuit that causes all the anxious feelings. Crossing card is 4 of Wands reversed. So basically, this is what's in the way. This is why you struggle to this is why you have a fear of failure. This is what creates that fear of failure for you. And 4 of Wands is about applying your authority to your intentions and your dreams, your passions, and your desires. Basically, when you see this kind of card, it's talking about setting up structure and routine. Basically, setting your goals into an order of priority so that you can complete them according to what's most important to you, specifically regarding the manifestation of your desires. Now, the card is reversed, which indicates that you have some difficulty with that, with sticking to a schedule or with being flexible when uncontrollable variables come in and disrupt your schedule. Being flexible with that is difficult for you. So that fact is what creates the anxiety. You feel like in the past you haven't been able to demonstrate the commitment that's necessary in order to see this kind of co-creation that you are hoping to achieve in the relationship come into fruition. So that's why you experience all of this fear of failure, and that's what creates all that anxiety. What this card has to suggest for you is literally that when things in your environment happen, uncontrollable, unforeseen events arise that interfere with your schedule, your structure, or the things that you're trying to work on, just identify what's most important and shift it around. So on a Monday, you would normally do this priority at this specific time of the day, but now there's an unforeseen event that prevents that. So you've got less important priorities on the list that are happening later in the day, so just move those to another day and shift that priority that's most important to you a little bit ahead. Be flexible, basically. Give room for flexibility in your schedule. It's also encouraging you to write things down. So instead of storing all of your priorities and your plans up here, write them down and talk about them. Make voice recordings. Thoughts exist up here, and when you want to manifest them, the very first thing you do is give them a physical form by speaking them aloud or writing them down. So really, writing down your objectives, your goals, and your priorities, and then learning and practicing flexibility with those priorities will help you turn this card around. So crossing card is often something that gets in the way of your dreams and what you're creating, but once you are aware of it, it can be used to your advantage. So, your conscious mind is observing completion. This card is number 10 of the trumps, and it is fortune. So, this is about reaping harvest. This is about seeing returns on investments made, investments of time and energy. So basically, your conscious mind is focusing on reaping the harvest. You have been working on certain projects, and you set a mission for yourself a while back, and you've been working on it and investing your time into it and committing to it, finding ways to make it happen. And so in the present moment, your conscious mind is focusing on reaping those rewards. The conscious mind is also concerned, this is what's adding to your anxiety, it's concerned that you are going to be fixating too much time on your process and your purpose and neglecting the development of this relationship with your crush Q. And that's not the case. The card wants to say to you that you focusing on yourself, filling your cup, reaping your harvest is the most aligned, authentic thing that you could be doing. And when you're doing that, when you're existing authentically, you attract people who exist authentically. So you have been working on your own dream and being authentic to yourself. So the people you've attracted, such as Q, the one you refer to as Q, are also authentic people who are working on their filling their own cup and accomplishing their own dreams. And among those people, one will stand out and will get closer and closer, and naturally a relationship will develop. So that card just wants to set your mind at ease and say, continue to reap your harvest, continue to focus on gathering the rewards of your efforts, because that is what is authentic, and existing authentically is how you make progress, and everything else develops naturally as long as you are authentic to your process. Unconscious mind is number 21 of the trumps. It is called the universe. So in this card, the star goddess is dancing with a serpent, and there is an eye that's beaming light onto the serpent. So basically what that is saying is that in your universe you have a certain structure. So within your mind and your physical space and your routine, that is your universe, your personal little universe. And there are certain aspects of yourself, toxic character traits and triggers and traumas. So your unconscious mind is becoming aware of those aspects of yourself that are a detriment to your purpose and what you're trying to create and work on. And this anxiety is one of those toxic traits. But because of this awareness, because of being able to see it, this light that's beaming on the serpent, it means that the serpent can no longer restrict you or keep you from your goals. You're learning to dance with it. And find ways to get out of its way, so that no matter how much it tries to impede you, you're always one step ahead, staying outside of its reach. The card is reversed, so it's saying that until this point you have been restricted by those things. The serpent has had you tied up and has been getting ready to devour you. But certain events, certain present events, like even this reading that we're going through right now, is shining that light on that serpent and turning that card around so that you can stay one step ahead of your traumas and your triggers and any toxic aspects of yourself that impede your progress. And that's what your unconscious mind is busy processing. It's busy learning to overcome and thwart your own, it's busy learning to, you are your own worst enemy. I am my own worst enemy. So your unconscious mind is processing how to stay one step ahead of the negative aspects of yourself. Past interval, things that are coming to a close for you. And this is number 1 of the trumps. It is called the Magus. So this is about communication. And that is you communicating your feelings and your intentions, juggling between various forms of communication. That's cell phones, that's pen, that's voice. Using all of the communicative tools at your disposal in order to bring your thoughts into reality and manifest your intentions. So that period of having to dance with communication is now coming to a close, and you are stepping into a place where all the potential for what you want from life lies right in front of you, and it just takes you reaching out and grabbing it. Future interval is the Knight of Cups. So this is an encouraging card. The Knight is all about rebirth, and Cups is all about emotions. So all of these negative, anxious feelings that you're going through, what's about to open up for you is a rebirth in all of those emotions. All the old ways of interacting with your emotional self and negative emotions is about to die. As you step forward and you start confronting these feelings, and you start confronting the fear of failure and the attachment to result that you've had, all of those old, negative, difficult, tumultuous feelings are going to die, and an entirely new way of coping and interacting with your emotions and finding peace is going to be born. The card is the right way around, so this indicates that this is something you're coming to of your own accord. If it's reversed, it indicates that someone's going to do something, or an event is coming up that's going to force you to do that. But when it's the right way around, it's you acknowledging that that's what's about to happen, and that's what you need to go through, and that's what you're capable of your own accord, based on your own experiences, and that is very encouraging. So yeah, that concludes your reading. It was quite extensive. I hope that it gives you value and you feel like you got the value that you paid for. Thank you for supporting. Please follow me so that you can get notifications when I go live in the future. Much appreciated. Your presence here and your contributions are much appreciated here. Thank you. checking over my chat to see who's next up for a reading. Before I did Juicy Butter Toast, I believe I was doing Elisa's reading. Yeah, that's right. And after Elisa will be Tara Laspina. I believe Tara is still in the chat. Juicy Butter Toast says, thank you so much. That was really clarifying for me. Amazing. Thank you so much for your recognition. I'm so glad that it resonates and that you received some value from the spread. And then I see there is a Ruganundon who says, hello, may I request a reading? Will my boyfriend reach out to me? Will he realize his mistakes? Love from Mauritius, sweetie. Amazing. Thank you for your question. Your question adds you to the queue. Just be mindful of the timer, because when that timer reaches 0, free readings close, and all readings from there on out are donation based. So a $2 donation will ensure that you get a reading after that timer expires. $5 skips the queue and puts you next in line for a reading. There are quite a few requests up ahead. Yeah, just letting you know. Next reading is for Tara Laspina, who is asking for a general love reading. Awesome. Also like to check on my timer and see how long we've been going. An hour and 22 minutes, so basically we've got 40 minutes left. Free readings are still going for another 40 minutes. Okay. Thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to share the value that I have. What opportunities exist for Tara in her love life? Your past interval is the 8 of Cups. So this is talking about past experiences with love. In past relationships, you have often felt like there was no consistency in the income and expense of your emotional value. So a lot of the time you felt like you were giving more of your emotional energy than you were receiving, and so your cups felt like they were low, like only certain aspects of your emotional being were being attended to, and you felt like you came to the realization that adjustments needed to be made, shifts needed to happen, changes needed to take place in order to create a balance between what you were giving and receiving regarding your emotional support and abundance. And that often meant having to leave relationships and walk away. The card is the right way around, saying that you did not make the wrong choices. When you came to that conclusion that your cups were being left empty by your partner and that it was time to walk away, you made the right choices in those moments. I'm seeing a spammer in my chat. Please, no spamming. Hey Zed? Hey Zed, please no spamming. So, Tara, your present interval is the 6 of Swords reversed. So this is saying to me that you are currently reaching out and making new connections in the hopes of forming some kind of deep, intimate connection with someone. And as you are forming these new connections, you're becoming aware of your limitations observing these people as you're getting to know them, observing how they work towards their goals and their purpose that they've set for themselves, and how they really apply themselves to their maximum potential, has made you aware of your own limits and how you could be doing better, in essence. But that has been a little bit difficult to accept, because you felt like you were already doing the best that you could regarding your own personal direction and your own personal purpose. So it was a little bit difficult to accept that you could be doing better, but the fact is that you were doing your best and you couldn't be doing any better. There were just limits on how much you knew and how much you'd experienced and how much resources you had at your disposal. So by interacting with these new connections and forming these new connections, you are doing the same thing to them. You are making them aware of their limitations. They're looking at you and being like, hey, it's a little bit daunting. She's doing so well. She's moving towards her objectives with such determination, applying herself to her maximum potential, and it's almost daunting for them. So both of you and the other people that you're connecting with, are experiencing a similar effect as a result of the connection. But at the same time, as they're observing you and as you're observing them, and you guys are all getting to know each other, you're giving them knowledge, they're giving you knowledge. You're going through new experiences, they're going through new experiences, and you guys are giving each other access to new resources that allow you all to transcend and evolve beyond your previous limitations. So swords is specifically to do with purpose. So you've set purpose for yourself and you were applying yourself to your maximum potential, but there were still limits on what you knew, experienced, and had access to. And now these relationships and these new connections are pushing you guys, all of you involved, past those previous limits, allowing you to reach a little bit further towards your purpose. Future interval is number 9 of the trumps. It is called the Hermit. So this is saying to me that as you move forward with these new connections and new relationships that you're forming in the present, one of them is going to stand out and get closer to you, and intimacy is going to develop and a strong relationship will form. And this Hermit card wants to just point out to you that in the past, when you've been in past relationships and you've been in the wrong, when you have justified acting out of an emotional impulse or doing something spiteful or doing something shameful in the relationship, when you've done a self-reflection, when you've sat with yourself and you've looked back, you've acknowledged where you have done well, you've acknowledged where you succeeded and where you supported and you did everything that was aligned, but then you're justifying when you were out of alignment. You're not accepting or taking responsibility for the places where you did self-sabotage or you did something spiteful. And that card, it just wants to say to you that as you go into these new relationships and you start forming new intimate connections, it's very important that you start taking responsibility for your own mistakes. As much as it's important to take responsibility for your successes, taking responsibility for your mistakes is equally as important, because as you go into a new relationship, you do not want to be repeating mistakes from the past, and you also want to be able to apply the breakthroughs and healing and support and positivity that you learned in past relationships to the present relationship. And the last thing that card wants to say is that you're going to experience triggers, and you're going to be triggering this other person that you get into a relationship with, and it's important for you and the other person to realize that you and the other person is not responsible for your triggers, that you alone are responsible for dealing with the root trauma of a trigger, and it's never the other person's responsibility. Just acknowledging that as you go forward, and if they can't acknowledge that, that's a red flag. So yeah, that concludes your reading. So thank you very much for joining and for participating. Much appreciation to you. Please like and share and follow me. Amazing. I'm seeing a notification. I just received another donation from Pamela View. I think that was the same. That was Juicy Butter Toast. Juicy Butter Toast, thank you so much for the investment, the tip, the donation. You have no idea how much it blesses me. Thank you so much. I feel inclined to give you an IOU card. If you check out my Discord server, there's a link on my Facebook that you can follow, and you can see a list of services there. I want to give you an IOU card for one of those, possibly some energetic healing if you like that, maybe a manifestation spell. Just, yeah, I want to express my appreciation and return some value for what you've just given me. Thank you so much. And then, hey Monica, thank you for joining us again. God bless you as always. If you'd like a reading, please ask a question. Just be mindful of the timer. We're getting close to the end. Tara says, thank you. Beautiful, thank you. Lots to think about. I'm glad it resonates, and I'm glad it opens up doorways for you and gives you, gives you some new perspective on your love life and how you can move forward positively with that. And then I see we've got a Starry Crisis who has joined the chat on Twitch, saying, hey, hope you're doing well. I would really love to have a reading if you have the time. So Starry Crisis, if you'd like to join the queue, please ask a question. Your question automatically adds you to the queue. This timer is the free readings timer. When it reaches 0, free readings are complete. I think I have enough time for 3 more readings, 3 more free readings, and I believe there are more than 3 requests in the queue. So if you want to secure your spot, that's a $2 donation. If you want to skip the queue, that's a $5 donation. Thank you. And Ritik Koshal, same applies to you. You can ask a question to join the queue. You might get a reading before I close. If you'd like to ensure that you get a reading, that's $2. If you want to skip the queue, that's $5. So, next in my queue, I have a Myra Mule. So Myra Mule, if you are still here, Myra Mule on Facebook, if you are still here, please let me know. You are up next for a reading. Asking, will I reconcile with my husband Alok this year? Starry Crisis says, I would love to know if he misses me. Awesome, you are in the queue. Ritik Koshal says, general reading. Awesome, thank you for your acknowledgement. And then, yeah, Myra Mule says she is still here. Awesome. So Myra Mule is up next for a reading. Whoop. Will Myra be reconciling with her husband Alok this year? To answer your question, Zabu Ninja, there are too many requests in the queue. So if you'd like to secure your spot, please please ask your question and send a $2 donation to secure your spot, or you can skip the queue by sending a $5 donation. Will Myra reconcile with her husband Alok this year? Your past interval is the 9 of discs. So this card is saying to me that in the past, like in the last month, in the last couple months, you have been reflecting on your physical safety and financial security, your health and fitness. looking back and seeing where you were able to stay consistent with your schedules and routines, and where you stepped outside of those and allowed your process to be derailed, and learning from that, learning from mistakes where you sabotaged your financial security, where you broke your commitments to your health and fitness, and also acknowledging where you succeeded and where you made breakthroughs and where you did well, and you went through that self-reflection so that you could avoid making the same mistakes in the future, and so that you can reapply your methods for success as you go into new cycles. So that card seems a little bit unrelated to your marriage, but I feel like it is kind of related. Like, I don't know exactly when you guys separated, but I feel like this self-reflection was also, it's also to do with the reason why that relationship ended. You were reflecting on the relationship and trying to see where you made mistakes and where you made successes, so that you could better understand why the relationship came to a close and avoid making those mistakes, and to apply those methods for success in the event that there was reconciliation, or in the event that you move into a new relationship. Present interval is it's 5 of swords, and it's reversed. So 5 is about applying yourself to your maximum potential, and swords is about purpose. So in the present, you have set for yourself purpose, and a note on purpose is that when you identify what your heart wants and then you start taking action to make it real, that is purpose. That's you setting purpose for yourself and living in purpose. So when I see this card reversed, it means that you're trying to reach a little bit further than what your knowledge and resources and experiences can take you. Every minute we have limits on how much we know and how much we've experienced, and every step we take brings new knowledge and new experience and access to new resources. So you've set a purpose and you're reaching for it, but you're trying to take steps that are a little bit too big. You're trying to walk in a stride that's a little bit more than you can keep up with, and that leaves you feeling frustrated, like you're not actually making progress with your purpose and what you've set for yourself. So that card just wants to encourage you to breathe for a moment and re-examine the resources at your disposal, your knowledge and education, your experiences, and then just take a little bit smaller steps. Look a little bit closer to home. Don't try and reach too far. So it's like you have an end goal here, and you're here and you're trying to leap from here to there, but that's not going to work. You need to jump to some kind of middle point before you can get there, and that's basically what that card has to say. If you want to reconcile, there's a certain process you can take, and that is you developing yourself, learning from past mistakes, reapplying your methods from success. Focusing on yourself for a little while is how you get to that middle point. Future interval is the 4 of Wands reversed. So this card is here to just give you a little bit of advice and a little warning. Wands is about desires and intentions, and 4 is about authority and structure. So this card is just here to say to you that what you want to see reconciliation, and there's a certain amount of authority that you need to apply if you're going to achieve that desire. Authority over yourself, over your own process, committing to yourself and filling your own cup and developing your own purpose and acknowledging your past mistakes and applying, like we saw with the 9 of discs. That process, there's a little bit of difficulty for you when it comes to applying that authority. You get into a state where you're like, this is important, this is what I'm going to do, and you start doing it, and then you lose interest and motivation, and your commitment slacks a little bit. And so the card wants you to be aware of that, so that when you feel those moments of intensity, you can breathe and say, is this aligned with what I want truly? And then if it is, committing to it. And when the motivation subsides, realizing that motivation is in the thoughts and inspiration comes from the heart. So follow after the heart's desire, follow after the inspiration of the heart, and don't rely on the thoughts that motivate or demotivate you. Once you know what you want, following it regardless of how you feel or what your thoughts are saying, in other words. And that concludes your reading. So basically it's saying that reconciliation is on the table, and you can have it, but don't form an attachment to that result. Rather focus on yourself and your own development and being content within yourself and being content with your own company and loving yourself. That is the halfway point. That's how you get to the halfway point between you and reconciliation. If you're doing this thing, the people around you will be inspired to do the same thing, and yeah, that brings you so much closer to a healthy resolution. So thank you for joining. Your support is very appreciated. Please feel free to like and share and subscribe. Follow me so you get notifications in the future, and if you by the means, you can also send a donation of your choosing, but that is optional. Thank you. So Rahunan is asking, will I get the reading? I'm not sure. Let me check how many people are in the queue, and let me check what the timer is at. So we have space enough for 2 more readings, basically, and yeah, let's have a look. Myra just received a reading. So next in line is Whitney, that's 1. And then it's Shruti Ostwal. Let's find out if they're here. So that if these guys are here in the chat, if Shruti and Whitney are here, then I'm afraid no, you won't be able to get a reading before the free readings timer closes. But if they jump out of the queue, if they're not here anymore, let's see who's next. It looks like you could get a reading if one of them leave the chat, Rahundan. If Shruti has left the chat, or if Whitney has left the chat. So Whitney, did I get a question from Whitney at all? Because if not, then that actually excludes her from the queue. Let me just check. Doesn't look like I got a question from Whitney. Okay, so Runundan, yes, you are able to get a reading, but no one else, I'm afraid. Runundan, well, maybe, you know, people leave the chat, but I've got space for 2 more, and Runundan is second. Let me see. Shruti Ostwal, are you here in the chat? Shruti Ostwal, if you were here, please confirm, because you are up next for a reading in the queue. Asking, if I expand my family business, how will it result? Starry Crisis says, I have a class, so you can take me out of the queue, but I hope you have a great stream. Thank you so much. It has been an excellent, productive stream thus far. Deep Tea you did miss, but you can jump back in because Shruti is not here. Yeah, so confirm your question for me, and I will get on with you, and then Ruhunundan will get the last reading of the day. The last free reading of the day, and anyone else who wants a reading can secure a spot with a $2 donation. $2 minimum. So Deep Tea, just waiting for you to confirm your question, because the chat has gotten quite busy since then, since you were here. You would like to know the appearance of your future spouse. Okay, for that kind of thing, I need to do some Blackwater scrying or some crystal ball scrying. The tarot is not the solution for that. So if you're really intent on finding out the appearance of your future spouse, then please contact me privately and schedule a remote viewing exercise with a scrying ball or a Blackwater mirror. The tarot is not suited to answering that question for you, I'm afraid. When will I meet him? That is something that the tarot can answer. It doesn't typically give exact time frames. Sometimes it does, but yeah, it will give you some idea of how you can bring yourself closer to that event and how you can step into that reality where you meet your future spouse, and give you some way to know when you've met your future spouse. Okay, so basically guys, just to confirm, Deepti and then Ruhunundan are the last two in my queue for free readings. Anyone else who would like to secure a reading needs to send a $2 donation to secure their spot. $2 minimum. When will Deepti meet his or her future spouse? Past, present, future intervals. So your past interval is the 5 of Wands reversed. So what this card is saying to me is that in the past you have wanted desperately to meet your spouse, your future spouse. You've wanted desperately to manifest that, and you've set intentions towards seeing that realized, but you were reaching a little bit further than what your knowledge and experience should carry you. Perhaps you even tried some spellcraft, or you tried divination in order to see and find out who it will be, what he looks like, when you'll meet him, but never really found the answers to those questions. This card is also telling me that he or she, your future spouse, has been in a similar place where they have desperately wanted to know who they're going to meet, who they're going to marry, and try to apply their abilities and their experiences and their resources in order to see that realized, but without very much result. And this obsession with trying to manifest something that was beyond your skill or capabilities was detrimental to you and took your focus away from things that were priorities and things that were important to your life. For both of you, even though you guys are in different locations, separate, you were going through a similar thing, and this was throughout the year of 2021. So, present interval, number 5 of the trumps. This card is saying to me that in the present, you guys are following the example of individuals who aren't necessarily the best examples. You are, through media or people that you meet, there are people that you and he admire, that you aspire to be like, that is not authentic for you. Trying to be like them is not the way that you exist authentically. I see this a lot, where I see the same faces on different people, and all of those people are trying to be like movie characters or actors. They're trying to mirror an example that already exists, instead of becoming their own example, instead of becoming themselves authentically. They're becoming someone else that they're looking up to, and that is not necessarily the way that we move into the future that is for us. The future doesn't happen to us, we claim it based on what we want. So not existing authentically doesn't bring you closer to your future. It takes you into a future that has nothing to do with you, really. So the advice of this card is what the advice this card has is to let go of that, become your own example, and this is how you will bring yourself closer to your spouse. Basically, if you fill your own cup and you start moving towards the future that you desire and working on your own self-development, becoming your own example and becoming a teacher to those who are stepping out on their own journey of authenticity. As they step forward into becoming who they truly are, they can see you breaking away from stereotypes and archetypes, and they can say, hey, I also want to be myself authentically, and I'm inspired by that. So becoming the example that you don't have moving into your own authentic being and focusing on yourself and applying all of your knowledge and resources towards seeing your future realized the way you want it to see, that will attract people, that'll attract new connections and new relationships into your life of people who are doing the same, who are existing authentically. And among these people, one will stand out, and naturally a relationship, a deep, intimate connection will form between you and one of these people that have come into your sphere, and that will be your future spouse. That is where the connection will happen. That's basically some advice on what you can be doing in the present and what you can be shifting in order to get towards this reality where you have met your spouse, your future spouse. Future interval is the Two of Discs, and this card is about potential. It's saying that what's about to open up for you is opportunities for you to grow in your health and your fitness and your finances, and yeah, the card wants you to be aware that that's about to open up for you, and that you should focus on that and claim it and commit to it, because you following your own dreams and focusing on yourself is how you get close to that reality of meeting someone else who's doing the same, where you can have a healthy and fulfilling relationship. So don't allow your obsession with knowing who your spouse is going to be to cause you to miss out on the opportunities that are about to be presented to you. Rather, claim them and focus on your self-development and committing to your own growth and financial security, trusting that the universe will bring the right people into your life, and among those people will be the future spouse that you're looking for. The card is saying, don't let your need for this relationship to distract you from focusing on yourself, to distract you from developing yourself, because by developing yourself, you bring yourself into the future where you meet your future spouse. And that concludes your reading. So thank you very much for joining. You are already subscribed. If you're by the means, please send a donation. Alternatively, you can also support me by checking out my other platforms and supporting me there as well, giving me a like or a follow. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, and yeah, thank you. So Ruhu Nundon, it's a very difficult name to pronounce. Raunundon. If you are in the chat, please let me know, because you will be getting the last free reading of the day, but if you are not here, I'll be giving it to someone else. So please let me know. Yes, Shruti missed as well. So Shruti, give me a few moments to confirm if Ruhu Nundan is here. If not, you will get the last free reading of the day. Anybody who has missed a reading and would like to secure that spot for themselves can do so by sending a $2 donation, $2 minimum. I have one more free reading to give away, and currently it's going to Ruhu Nundan, but if he is not here, it goes to Shruti Ostwal. Deepti, I'm so glad that you appreciate it, and I really appreciate your return and repeated support of these streams. Thank you so much. So it doesn't look like Ruhu Nundan is here. So Shruti, you are next, and I remember your question was, if I expand my family business, what will be the outcome? Namaste and salam, shalom. Sorry about that, I bumped the camera a little bit. Damn. It's just getting more humid and more stuffy by the minute. Shruti, are you here? Because I want to give away this last reading, but I don't even know if you're still in the chat. Okay, it doesn't look like Shruti is here. So Ritik Kaushal, if you're here, you can get the last free reading, so let me know. I'll give you a few moments to respond. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so Yamini Balani, it seems like you're here. You're still here, as you're the last comment that I can see in the thread. But just confirm for me that you haven't left, because no one else who has made a request is still here, so you can get the last free reading of the day. Yamini Balani on Facebook. Let me know if you are still in the chat. Awesome. You want to settle abroad? So I'll ask the tarot how you can make that a reality, how you can manifest that into your life. Yes, Waliula, you are lower on the list. You are further down than Yamini, so Yamini is getting the last free reading of the day. Wali, if you would like to secure yourself a reading, because this timer I believe has expired, so if you'd like to secure a reading, that's a $2 donation minimum. Thank you very much. How can Yamini secure and manifest her desire to settle abroad? Past interval, present interval, and future interval. So your past interval is the Knight of Swords reversed. This one is telling me that events happen in your life that cause you to re-examine what your purpose was. It caused you to re-examine where you were taking your life, and that experience of realizing that what you were currently doing was not aligned with what your heart truly wanted, and that your heart truly wanted to go and do something abroad and travel. So the old purpose that you had for yourself, you allowed that to die so that this new purpose could be born. And that happened towards the end of 2021, in the last couple months of 2021. I don't know exactly what it was that created that shift for you, but the card is reversed, which indicates that it came from an outside source. It wasn't a realization that you came to of your own accord. An event happened in your life that made you come to that conclusion. And it's what has brought you into the present. Again, I see number 5 of the trumps reversed, and this is saying to me that your current method, you saying you want to settle abroad, you are trying to reach a little bit further than your knowledge, resources, and experiences can carry you. So your objective here is to go abroad. This is where you currently are. You need to focus on something that's a little bit in between. You need to focus on setting yourself a purpose and some kind of security, some form of security that you can get to that's in between. A little mission, a little side hustle that can get you to a point between. Because if you try and leap from where you are to there, it's going to be very difficult, and you're probably going to fall and get hurt. So you need to get to some kind of in-between point. You need to find something that can bring you the abundance and the security that's necessary in order to make that full, complete circle where you are abroad and settled. Basically, the card is, in other words, advising you to look a little bit closer to home for now, to focus on what you can do in the present that brings you closer to that goal, rather than trying to focus on how you can make that goal happen right away. Look at what you can do that brings you a little closer to it. What can you do that can secure what you currently have and make that more of a possibility? Right now, that's a little bit outside of the realms of possibility. If you reach for that, it's going to be a lot of effort, a lot of resistance. It's kind of against the flow of the universe to reach for that going abroad right in this moment. You need to get to a little point in between. So look at what kind of knowledge you have, look at what kind of experiences you have, acknowledge their limitations, acknowledge the limitations on your knowledge and experiences, acknowledge the limitations on your financial and technological resources, and then look at what you can do in the present with that knowledge and that experience. Look how you can apply that in a reasonable way that is like within. Choose a goal that is attainable using your current knowledge and your current resources. Once you reach that goal, you can look again at what you're capable of and what your resources are able to do from there. Basically, that'll be your middle ground. For now, look a little closer to home, make a step, and then look again at where you can go. Make a step, then look again. Eventually you will be in a position that your dream of being abroad will open up for you. Step out and become the example that you wish you had. Make it possible for yourself, but don't try and reach further than what your current resources can carry you. Move one step at a time. That's the advice that card has. Future interval is the Princess of Wands. So this card is about applying your creativity to find creative solutions to the troubles and blockages that you face. You have a desire, and now this card is saying you're about to step into a place where you can apply your creativity to overcome blockages and resistances. Your desire is to travel abroad, and you can take action to reach that, but you need to your steps need to be small. Don't try and take steps that are too big, because you might trip and fall. You will most certainly trip and fall. In the beginning, when you had desires and you wanted to move towards them, there was a lot of fear of failure, that prevented you from actually taking any kind of action. At some point you realized that you had to take that leap of faith, trusting in your abilities regardless of the fear. And now in your present you realize that fear is irrelevant, because as long as the steps you're taking are within the reasonably attainable based on your knowledge and your experiences and your resources, then there's nothing to fear. Failure is not really in the cards as long as your objectives are reasonable based on your knowledge and experience. And that's what that card has to say. So there's nothing to fear as long as you are as long as you're not overreaching. There's nothing to fear. No fear of failure. You can let go of that tiger of fear that used to bite you, as long as you are stepping a reasonable distance based on your current knowledge and current experiences. Awesome. Patricia Cassidy, welcome to the chat. So letting you guys know, the queue is closed, I believe. That was the last free reading that I was giving for the day. And checking my notifications, I do not see. Oh wait, there we go. Awesome. Thank you so much, Patricia. Thank you for your support. And letting you guys know, as long as I'm receiving some kind of return, I will continue to give away readings indefinitely, basically. So Patricia, you're up next. Is your job safe? Yamini Balani, I hope that your reading resonates with you and gives you some new perspective on how you can reach for this dream of settling abroad. Just looking a little bit closer to home for now, putting one foot in front of the other. Every step makes your future expand. The possibilities that you're capable of expand with every step that you take. Just keep it small and simple for now. at some point you will have the means at your disposal to settle abroad. On behalf of Patricia Cassidy, is her job safe? Past, present, future. Okay, so your past interval is the Queen of Swords. Queen energy, as I've said before, I don't know if you've heard me say it, but Queen energy is like, I want to attain something, so I'll make it happen for myself. Finding a sort of strength and motivation in the desire itself. And Swords is about purpose. Moving towards your objective. When you identify what your heart really wants from life, and you set your intention to accomplish that, and you apply your will to accomplish that true desire, the true inspiration that's in your heart, then you are setting and acting within purpose. And so the Queen of Swords is saying that at some point in the last month, in the last week, to the last week of 2021 and the first week of 2022, you identified what your heart was inspiring you to do, and you started applying yourself to it, taking strength and motivation in the fact that that desire and that inspiration is there, and you started to apply that even in your current workspace. Even if you feel like your current job is not exactly aligned with that, you are still applying yourself to your purpose while you've got that, and that is commendable. You know, that's how we do it. We've got to have something to support the dream, and continue to stay focused on that. Continue to stay focused on applying your will to follow the inspiration that's in your heart. Regardless of whether or not your job is secure, if you follow this, your job will stay secure. You will have some kind of income that supports that dream until the point that it can support itself. And that's what that card has to say. Present interval is a Knight of Discs reversed. So this card is saying to me that your job is not stable. It's saying that there is, in the present, it's collapsing. There's a rebirth in your financial and physical environment. A rebirth is undergoing, and it's not something you've chosen, it's something that's being brought on you by the environment. So that is saying to me, no, your current job is not necessarily secure, it's not necessarily stable. So staying committed to that inspiration that's in your heart and trying to organize a side hustle right now is instrumental, because at any moment that the job that you're currently in could fall away. Your current source of income could fall away. When I see the Knight of Discs, it often talks about moving from one location to another, or it means the end of a career and the start of a new one. So these rebirth cards, these Knight cards, they can be quite scary, but the kind of growth and changes that come out of this rebirth will always be positive and bring you closer to alignment. So that card wants to encourage you to trust the universe, knowing that you following the inspiration of your heart is what's necessary. That's you. You've chosen purpose and you've set purpose, and stepping within that purpose is what's aligned with you and what's aligned with the universe. So as long as you stay true to that and stay true to yourself, the universe will ensure that there is some way for you to stay secure until a point where your dream supports itself. And the death of old income means the birth of new income. It's going to be a healthy change. Even if there's some struggle, it will be a healthy and positive change, and there will be a lot of growth for you in it. That card is saying that literally any moment your job could fall through, so please bear that in mind and start making some creative solutions. Future interval is the Queen of Discs. This card, it's talking about arriving at an oasis in the desert. It's the Queen energy once again, about desire, and using that desire as motivation and strength. Discs physical security, financial security. So this card is saying that what's opening up for you is you are going to step into your desire. You're going to step in and follow your desire for financial security, and you will arrive at an oasis, and you'll be able to look back at the desolation of your job and say, at least I have this, and at least I am secure in this. Yeah, basically that card is saying that the universe will keep you secure. It'll look around you like desolate wasteland, like everything is falling apart, but where you will be is secure, and you'll be able to watch that desolation from your spot of security. It might not be as comfortable as what you're used to, but you will be secure in it, and the universe will hold you there. And yeah, that concludes your reading. So I know it's a little bit frightful what the cards have revealed, but it has also been encouraging. The universe is saying to you that you will be held, and you can take this leap of faith. You can follow your heart's inspiration. And yeah, the universe is giving you a little heads up on what's about to happen with your current job. It's also giving you a little heads up saying that you will be held. It might not be as comfortable or as easy as what you used to, but you will be held through it all. So yeah, and thank you. I don't like being the bearer of bad news, but yeah, it's not all bad news. Silla, pausing to contemplate the magnitude of what has been revealed. Alright, so I'm checking my chat to see if anyone else has put in a security donation, and I'm seeing that no one else has. So welcome to the chat, Smita. As you can see, my free readings are closed. If you would like a reading, please send a minimum $2 security donation, and that will give you, I'll stick around to give you a reading if you're prepared to send that donation. Otherwise, I was about to end the stream. So let me know. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody, and thank you for supporting me. Yeah, peace upon you all. I'm going to be closing the stream now. I will check my notifications once more. Yep. Yeah, so enjoy the coming week and enjoy the remainder of your Sunday. Blessings of prosperity and abundance. My thoughts and prayers going out to all of you who are struggling through difficult periods. I ask that my God and the universe hold your hand and guide you and keep you secure and fill you with peace that transcends all understanding, knowing that you are held by the hand of the universe and its creator. Amen.